Hey everybody, Rick Ward, the Urban Air Gunner. Welcome back. We've got new ballistics gel out there. We're going to be doing some ballistics testing with the AirForce Texan once again. The response that you guys have given me was just absolutely overwhelming. Thank you so much. I have to tell you, the last time we had ballistics gel, when we were shooting it in those last few clips with the Texan, it was used. Somebody had given it to me. It was old ballistics gel. It was half dirty when I got it, but it would have been okay, but I scorched it. Got too big of a hurry and just cooked it too fast and scorched it. So I've got brand new ballistics gel. I have got the Texan sitting here. Seth Rowland sent me some different ammo to use, and so we're going to use some of that bigbore airgunammunition.com. bigbore excuse me. So we're going to use that, and what we're going to do in this this episode, we're going to take 255 grain slug, and then I've taken one and I've hollowed it out to about 240 grains. So it's not a real deep, nasty cavity, but it is a hollow point about halfway down into the projectile. So we're going to shoot these across the chronograph one at a time. We're going to shoot it into ballistics gel. Already predicting one, the wad cutter is going to be straight line penetration at 3,000 PSI in the gun. I believe we're going to have straight line penetration at 50 yards. The hollow point, it's anybody's guess. So let's get to it. What do you say? Okay guys, first we're going to do the 255 grain slug. That sounded pretty doggone nasty. What do you say we go check it out? All right, guys, 255 grain. We came right down. Here's the entrance right here. Came straight down here, had some expansion here on the end right before it came out. I don't know if you can try to bring it in here a little bit and see if you can see this or not. All right. If you can see that in there, where it came in. That's the expansion on this side. So it came in from here, came all the way through, straight line penetration. I mean, it's a nice little cavity. And then it made a big expansion here on the end. All right, guys, 255 grain slug, 50 yards. 711 feet per second. Now I hadn't shot the guy, topped it off. It may be in a little bit over 3,000. Hadn't settled yet. I predict that this is going to be a little bit faster. Obviously, the hollow point going down range at 50 yards. Whew. 842 feet per second out of that one. You hear me? 842. God. And it was, that thing was nasty. Oh my gosh. Let's go down here and see what we got. So the slug came in high right here in the top, made a huge permanent cavity all the way over here, but then busted out the top. So I need to aim a little bit lower, obviously. So I have one more hollow point made up. All right, I topped it back off, and if you go, it didn't settle, so we were real slow on this. We were only 674 feet per second. So let's go down there and see what we got. 50 yards, ballistics gel. I don't know if you can see where it's at right now, but it came in through the side here, made a really nice big hole in there. I mean, permanent cavity all the way down. It came through kind of at an angle, kind of like this. Came in about 6-7 inches and blew up. I mean, permanent, huge cavity right here on the side, and the bullet's like right here in the middle. But because it was only 600 plus feet per second, it really never opened up. the bullet came in, the gel swelled up and kind of tumbled the bullet. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab another hollow point and we're going to make sure that we've got the air set right. I had filled it up, didn't let it settle. Always like to take a shot right off of a fresh fill just to make sure, because I always go just a tad bit past the 3,000 line, and that way as it settles back down it usually gives you 3,000. But we're going to give it another shot to see what it does. Hollow point bullet, last time around, 7 diameter, 3,000 psi. See what happens. Whew. 897 feet per second. 897 feet per second with a 240 grain hollow point, and it made a smack on that ballistics gel. We're at 50 yards. We're trying to replicate a real world scenario. If you were out in the woods deer hunting, you saw a deer at 50 yards, you wanted to pull the trigger on him, what would happen if you had a hollow point? What would happen if you had a wad cutter? Let's go see. Doesn't always go as you plan. It sounded great down there. The bullet entered, the projectile entered right here, made a pretty nice expansion right here on the end, and then came up, and I hit it at the top, so it traveled along the top about halfway through and then pulled out. It just blew out right here at the top. So we didn't get what we wanted as far as being able to find the projectile. The first hollow point I shot came in right on target, came down here and landed right here. Not before it made a bunch of permanent cavity right here. A lot of the argument, let me get through here. A lot of the argument that that is made is that if you shoot a deer, should get my hand on this. If you shoot a deer with a hollow point, it's going to go in there. Of course, the deer, it's going to hit vitals. The deer is going to bleed out. But you got one hole that blood's going to trickle out of. Now, this made a pretty nice cut. I mean, this made a pretty nice cut. And I do believe, my honest opinion is that with the size of the hole that's right there, it would definitely be bleeding out. You would have a blood trail. Guys, I've been hunting deer for, well, I guess since I was about 12, 13 years old. It just is one of those deals that when you see a hole that big, that's gonna draw a lot of blood. But when you see a hole about that same size and it goes through and through, now you got blood coming out both sides, okay? So it's gonna make it a little bit easier to track. Now a deer, when you shoot a deer, there's a lot of adrenaline. That deer takes off. He's gonna jump over stuff, jump over logs, run through brush. So as that deer's body comes up and bends and flexes, blood squirts out the sides, there's going to be a certain amount of blood that's going to shoot on tree limbs. It's going to drop. You're going to see blood on the ground, blood mist on trees as they make their way around. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. So the more blood you have, the quicker that animal is going to bleed out and be done. So it is a still a very humane way when you're looking at shooting deer with a bow. You got a blood trail. I mean, that's the whole point. Big wound channel, blood trail. With an air rifle, that's what we're looking for. We want a big blood channel. We want a big wound, lots of blood. Prefer most of the deer that we shoot, we prefer them to just drop right there, and a lot of them do. But there's always going to be that one that you're going to have to track. Now this hollow point, see if I can pull in here and show you. That thing was only 670, 611 feet per second, whatever it was 600 feet per second. at 50 yards, when that thing hit, it started to expand. I mean, it was on its way to expanding. That is a big old cup. Unfortunately, it didn't expand out as deep as I would have liked it to. I probably should have taken a shot to knock that top layer of air off that gun. But nonetheless, it made a big wound channel, and at the end of the day, I honestly believe that deer would have been dead within just a few feet, judging by the size of the hole that this thing made as it went in. There's a lot of permanent cavity there. Again, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for subscribing. Share it with your friends, guys. Y'all be safe. We'll see you next time.